EDEN2020 represents the climax of a 15-year journey in precision medicine. So the project stems from a 15-year-old conversation with a very famous zoologist named Julian Vincent. Julian came to me and presented to my department this idea about ovipositing wasps. And he was describing this very special egg-laying channel that was composed of several parts and that could travel through the bark of a tree very, very gently. And I thought, wow, what an amazing concept. Could I apply it to minimally invasive neurosurgery, which has been a hot topic of mine?
And the basic idea was to cover a gap in neuro-oncology, that is the treatment of deep-seated tumors, and to overcome most of the limitations of the standard treatment based on the rigid catheter.
One of the big limits of minimally invasive neurosurgery is that if you want to get to a deep-seated site through a burr hole in the skull, you generally are constrained by a straight line trajectory between the two.
The limitation of the rigid catheter is the intraoperative accuracy, the presence of brain shift, the tissue deformation induced by the rigid catheter, and we thought that a steerable catheter can overcome most of these problems and limitations.
So in 2006, when the idea came to me through Julian, I thought to myself, must be easy, I'm going to copy it straight away. In reality, it took 5 years to understand how to abstract the key concepts behind this biological inspiration and create something that we could then recreate using engineering constraints. So in the early phase of this journey, funding was public and it was from national funding bodies in the UK and by the European Commission through a European Research Council grant, while the latter part was now supported by Horizon2020 through a research and innovation action to the tune of about 8.5 million euros. The sum of all this funding has gotten us all the way from bench to bedside, which is something that is now on Horizon. A bit like the wasp, the catheter in EDEN2020 is made up of multiple segments that are able to move with respect to one another. And so we took that design and reinvented it for use in neurosurgery.
This platform for precision neurosurgery consists of a positioning system, catheter robot, and head frame, and is supported by an array of intraoperative sensors for precise patient monitoring. Sliding through a bespoke lockable port, the steerable catheter, bolstered by a unique bio-inspired design, exploits the relative motion of segments and tissue contact forces to guide the tip along complex trajectories with pinpoint accuracy. With embedded optics, the catheter can identify and avoid vessels along its path and take diagnostic measurements of tissue properties on the fly. The surgeon can guide the catheter interactively via an intuitive user interface, complemented by multiple views of the insertion process, real-time measurements of the patient anatomy, and dynamic replanning of the insertion trajectory as a function of tissue deformation and bodily motions. The system can be used to support diagnosis and deliver multiple treatments. An example is laser ablation to treat several neurosurgical conditions such as drug-resistant epilepsy and brain tumours. Another is drug delivery in the context of neuro-oncology, where chemotherapeutics are administered directly within the lesion. The catheter can also be used to take recordings of brain signals and perform electrical stimulation to support neurodegenerative disease management, such as Parkinson's.
When we started with EDEN, we thought that conventional hands delivery could be one of the applications. Then we realized during the project that indeed the ability of the platform was to be quite large, and in fact can also help, particularly in the field of precision medicine, because it can be used for getting information from different sites, from different nodules, information about diagnostic, and also helps in the treatment, even in the acute phase and in the chronic phase. So the applications are definitely very, very large.
Also, this is among the first preclinical application of a truly robotic platform in brain surgery, not only to increase the precision of the pose of a device, but also to robotically drive a catheter within the brain. And I'm looking forward to see where EDEN2020 will also lead us further, and also if EDEN2020 will be able to inspire further application that I cannot even imagine in the near future.
Thanks to all the efforts that has been done, most of the items and idea that we thought could be implemented were successfully performed.
As of now, we have a fully functional technology platform for precision neurosurgery that could be tuned to address any number of clinical subspecialties like drug delivery or laser ablation. And we are one step closer to getting to an operating theater for a first-in-man trial. Working with the EDEN2020 consortium has been an absolute privilege. It has allowed me, as the coordinating partner, to work with some of the best clinicians, biomedical engineers, and industrial partners I could have probably hoped for. I can only hope that in years to come, we will be able to put all of this together under one roof and deliver a product for the benefit of patients.